Okay, good morning, everyone. Today is now we have our second MUSA Annual Election 2022 debate. This time it is for the School of Medicine and Health Sciences female representative, Calvina Hung, also from Ignivitus. Our current office bearers who are with us today here in the debate are Muawiyah Mohammed and Vaishnavi Rao. Okay, and apart from that, let me do a brief introduction of myself and my team. I am Sean Pan, the returning officer of this year's annual election, and my DRO deputy is Alethea Goh, and she's working behind the scenes to make sure that the stream runs smoothly. A few reminders for the audience is just to keep your comments respectful. You may also drop any questions you have towards Calvina and her manifesto in the comments. There will be a section in the debate where we will refer to your comments and I will present any comments that you have towards her, giving her the opportunity for her to respond to your questions. Now, moving on from the introduction, we can do a brief overview of the agenda. Okay, so we've had the introduction by Election Commission, which is what I just did. From after that, we will go into the opening statement by candidates, which is Calvina, and this will be her chance to let you guys know about her manifesto, her chance to make a first impression or anything that she wants to use her time with. After that, we do have Q&A, but because Calvina is the only candidate in here, we will bypass the Q&A or cross-examination of any other opposition candidates. Straight to Q&A by office bearers. So this is where I will give Muawiyah and Vaishnavi the chance to ask Calvina any questions regarding her manifesto and also follow up on questions about that. And the Q&A by audience is when I'm going to read out your comments. So remember, give Calvina an opportunity to clarify anything in the manifesto that you might like clarifying with. And then we have the closing statements by candidates, which will give Calvina her chance to say the last words, and we will finally end with closing by EC. So, without further ado, we can move on to the opening statement by Calvina, and I would like to pass the mic over to Calvina Hung, candidate for School of Medicine and Health Sciences representative. Calvina, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Sean. So good afternoon, fellow students, or even faculty members of School of Medicine and Health Sciences and beyond. Firstly, I would like to express my gratitude towards the election committee and the current office bearers for the opportunity today. My name is Calvina Hung, but I usually go by Vina, and I'm running as the representative for the School of Medicine and Health Sciences. I'm a psychological science student currently in my second year, first semester of study. I'm aware that in our school there are two departments, which are medicine and psychology, and it is my absolute priority to voice the opinions of both. I am to constantly communicate with medicine students so that their opinions and feedbacks are voiced. This would be achieved also through working side by side with established organizations of students from the medicine department of our school, and also by keeping regular open communication with the head of the Faculty of Medicine. I understand that for the coming year, a lot of students will transition from either online or hybrid mode of learning into an offline one. Thus, it is one of my agendas to create a comfortable transition for the students by providing information on our social media platforms regarding how to navigate around campus and more. I will also be maintaining the clear, easy to access, and responsive system of feedback platforms where students can give feedback or general questions anonymously and make amendments to it if needed. Organizing and launching events that would appeal to students of SOMAS is my priority also. Events such as career talks will help students in navigating what they would like to pursue after the completion of their studies, and workshops that would appeal to students of respective departments would be launched as well. These events will be nothing short of informative, inspiring, and superb. One of my main agenda is also to increase the engagement of our social media platforms, which can be achieved, for example, through interactive experiences such as polls on Instagram story, Instagram takeovers, and Q&A sessions. If I were to be elected as a School of Medicine and Health Sciences representative, I promise to give my best in maintaining and working upon the progress that have been made so far by the current administration and in representing the voices of students in our school. So if I do get elected, do not hesitate to come up to me or contact me through social media platforms, as I would love to help with any of your inquiries. Thank you.
Thank you, Calvina, for that wonderful opening statement. Now, as we do not have any other candidates to do a cross-checking or cross-examination, we can move on to the office bearers Mawia and Vaishnavi for any questions that they have for Calvina regarding her manifesto.
I guess I'll go ahead first with the first question. All right. My first question to you is, what kind of events do you have planned for the term ahead, and what kind of events or initiatives do you have? Will you prioritize? Would you like me
Thank
to?
you, Vaishnavi. Oh, yeah. Um, so events that I currently have in mind are such as career talks and workshops relating to respective departments that would suit the students' needs. And of course, more laid back events also where students can unwind after a stressful day, week, or even month. Collaborations with other schools also so they can mingle with students outside of our school. And this could also help with the higher turnout rates. And how to prioritize the events, I would say I would garner the opinions of the students first, which events they would love to have first, which events they prefer over other events. This could be achieved from our social media platforms also. I hope that answers. Thank you.
Yep. Good answer. Moya, do you want to ask the next question? Oh, Moya, I don't think we can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me. Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yeah.
A bit of a finicky mic this. But it was a good opening statement. My question is regarding your manifesto. So you mentioned in your manifesto that you aim to maintain open communication between the faculty and the students. That is a very noble objective, but it's also quite major. What do you plan on doing to accomplish this objective?
I aim. Thank you, Maria, for the question. I aim to have a bi-weekly meeting with the faculty members of both medicine and psychology departments, and I aim also to choose year representatives from the students of SOMAS, from medicine and psychology, so that I can create focus groups with them to discuss the results of the bi-weekly meetings with them also.
All right. And you also mentioned, you're going to provide students with tools where they can send questions, feedback, and so on. What tools do you have in mind, and what tools haven't the previous, not our administration, previous and the previous administrations haven't thought of that you plan on introducing?
Okay, thank you. So currently we already have a feedback platform, and I would just enhance that feedback platform and make amendments to it if I see it necessary, or creating a more directed question so that students can pour out their feedbacks or opinions even better. And also during our Instagram polls or Instagram questions where people can just type in their Q&As and we can answer directly.
Okay. And alongside this, you say you're going to utilize social media platforms, right? So how do you plan utilizing them? That's a general statement. It's a good idea, but how do you plan and what's so actionable about this?
Mhm. So in social media, I think interactivity is key to increase engagement on the platform. So I, together with my future subcommittee, will try to pour out our creativity into creating posts such as interactive stories or polls and providing story highlights with additional information for the students. And also I would envision doing a group chat on Telegram or on WhatsApp in announcement forms just to decrease the amount of possible trolls.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you for your answer. Vice, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So my next question to you is, as we all know, the School of Medicine and Health Sciences have two different schools, which are the School of Psychology and also Medicine. So, how will you ensure equal priority be given to both the medicine students and the psychology students in terms of initiatives, events, etc.?
All right, thank you, Vaishnavi. So I do understand that some people might have concerns of me running alone and not having a representative directly from the medicine side. But considering that if I do get elected, I still get the guidance of the current office bearers, and also I would have my future subcommittee members who could be from the medicine department, and I would also ask them to constantly weigh in their opinions on the types of events that we would launch.
Good answer. Thank you so much. Moya, do you have another question? We can't hear you again, Moya.
I'm sorry, I'm a klutz at this. Sorry. Okay, so when you speak of professional growth programs for psychology and medicine students, what does that entail?
So events such as maybe career talks and workshops where students can join in and practice what they have learned so far in university so that they can help like practice applying what they've studied into real life situations.
Okay, and just to follow up on that, and how would that look like for a psychology student?
All right, so for psychology student, I understand that our study have been a lot of materials and not real life demonstrations. I aim to create events that are more on the maybe the fun side, not so serious, but like we can have trivia nights where questions could be directed to like psychology, to the psychology realm of study, so that they can try to indicate what's going on into that situation and apply what they've learned so far.
All right, okay. Thank you for your answer. Vaish, any more questions?
I don't think I have any more questions.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll go next then. All right. So, one of your key points in your manifesto is social media engagement, and you acknowledge that it could be used to increase attendance and maintain open communication channels. Now, in social media engagement, particularly on the SOMHS MUSA, has been characteristically low for the past 2 to 3 years on and off, and various initiatives have been put in place to address that from the previous administration, our administration. So, what actionable insights do you have and plan to address this issue?
Thank you. So I understand that a drastic change could not happen overnight. So I aim to slowly but surely increase engagement. And considering that students are rolling in this year, like most of them are continuing to be in an offline mode of learning, I think most of them would be more interested in attending our events. Thus, if they attend one of our events or maybe just the mingle night, they can get words of our social media platforms, and I would encourage them to follow us. And thus, I would also create with my future subcommittee, we would also try to create posts that are more interactive so that students can feel more engaged into our social media. And I think by doing that, they can get their other friends who are maybe also in SOMAS to also engage with our social media platform.
All right, thank you for your answer. So just to follow up on that, part of that engagement is also approachability, right? Um, so approachability is definitely vital. I think it's good that you are aware of that. It's vital for the school reps. Do you have any specific plans to make yourself and make the department more approachable to the students? If so, what are they?
Yes. So for approachability, of course, we would constantly reiterate that the students of SOMAS can just come up to us if they have any inquiries or anything they need. We would also be, it is in my agenda to create maybe a lunch schedule where the representatives and the subcommittees can be just around Monash during lunch time, and then students can just come up to our table and have a chat or talk about their concerns or feedbacks.
All right, that is a good idea. Um, let's see. Let's see. Okay. All right. So one of the things you also need to do as a student, as a school rep, is to ensure that student concerns are appropriately addressed. Well, one, are you aware of the protocols, and what do you plan on ensuring this will be done?
So I think the main thing about my manifesto is an open communication. So I would try to follow the procedures given to us step by step, and I would also try to communicate it to all the students, again using our social media platforms to just update them on how their inquiries are going, what are the steps they're in, so that they understand how, like, so that they also understand how things work. And I would try to finish or address anything in a timely manner so that students can not worry about it in like over a long time and affect their own studies.
Okay. All right. Good answer. Okay. This is an easy one. You are running alone. I think you know that already. How do you plan on overcoming the obstacles associated with running alone? You'll have to do quite a bit of the legwork um, as an individual, and you'll only get your subcommittee next year, February, March. So between now and then, how do you plan on attending to all that is you need to attend to?
Thank you. I believe that time management is key when working alone, and also not to slack on yourself, because procrastination is very easy when you only have yourself to check on. So I would try to keep a structured work schedule where I just time out everything I need to do or list out everything that I need to do and make a structured schedule of it.
All right. All right. Okay, more of a nebulous, a bit of a vague question here, but what is it that makes you the ideal candidate to be the school representative?
Okay, so thank you. I think becoming a school representative has a lot of responsibilities, and I believe that all of the leadership skills I've acquired so far would become useful for me in attending to this role. And I think approachability as a representative is also important, as you've mentioned before. And I think I'm quite approachable as a student. So I'm confident that I can be a good representative. And I do not intend to ignore any of the voices of the students, even though that I'm only from the psychology department. I would constantly ask the medicine students to weigh in and constantly look for their opinions myself if I don't see any in our feedback platforms.
All right, very good. Okay, so the transitionary period is technically at a close. This year has been the transitionary period. And so some of the resources, quite a bit actually, are available online as it is. So what gap do you see here in the transitionary period, as you would call it? And what
Mhm,
resources are you going to provide to address the gap that you've identified, different to what the university and MUSA has identified already?
mhm. I thank you. So even though the transition period can get officially said close already, but I see a lot of students, including myself, still in the headspace of doing online learning. And some students have come up to me and says that they skip classes because offline classes are just too much for, the students currently, because they're still in that headspace where I don't want to go to class, like it's offline. And I aim to address that just to motivate the students more and becoming approachable if they have any concerns, if they have any things they want to rant about, maybe about offline learning. And also for medical students, it has come to my attention that their first semester is very hard to transition into, whether they're coming from foundation. So, yes, I aim to help with that.
All right. Can I ask the next question? If Maria doesn't have any follow-ups.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So one last question for you from my side. So as we know, for the School of Medicine, we have another club called as Mamets, and for the psychology, we have Spin. So keeping that in mind, we will have a lot of overlaps in events, initiatives, and there might be some misunderstandings sometimes. So how will you prevent misunderstandings from happening? And if they do, how will you overcome this? And yeah, do you have any uh, initiatives on how you can expand your network by collaborating with these clubs, Spin and Moments?
Yes, thank you. So, of course, communication is key. I am to also communicate with the heads of the clubs themselves and maybe have meetings with them, casual or professional. And for misunderstandings, I would try my best to keep everything professional so that nothing crosses boundaries or things like that. And for widening connections, of course, by working with clubs, um, we can create a higher turnout rates, either from students that are already following us or following the clubs themselves, so that we become more aware of what each other do, what events each other have in mind.
Good answer. Thank you so much. Yeah, Mario, back to you.
Yeah, okay. Right, so what leadership experience of yours will you utilize for your role and responsibilities as SMHS rep if you get elected?
Thank you. So I have been part of numerous group projects, some in university contexts, some in event managing. I was also a part of the house committee of the four Monash houses this year, and it gave me even more insight into how to work with other people and not only manage others, but also myself, which is important in a leadership skill where you don't only give tasks to do to other people, but you also need to to hold yourself accountable. So I think that's an important thing I've learned this year.
All right, thank you very much. I think that's all from us. Yeah, so no further questions from the OBs.
Thank you, OBs and Vina. That, I must say, was a very, very productive Q&A session. Now, we can move on to the Q&A session for the students. Um, Although it does not seem like they have any questions in the comments right now, I propose that we could give them perhaps 5 minutes. And if no questions arise within that, then we can move on from there. Does anyone want to share about how their day went today? Okay, hanging me out to dry.
It was
Thank you.
okay. It was all right. I can't complain. It was one of those slow Monday mornings. I know it's some break, so taking it easy.
Okay.
Still have one assignment to complete and submit today, so woohoo for me. Besides that, pretty okay. How about you, man? How's it going? How's life as RO?
Oh, well, it's quite fine. Of course, there's ups and downs. I'm quite hungry and I haven't eaten, but it's okay because I love my job.
That's wonderful,
Okay.
bro. I can feel the passion ooze out of you, man.
Yeah. How about you, Vaishnavi?
Everything's going fine. I'm so sorry. It's quite noisy at the back. The renovations are going on.
Oh, it's okay.
I actually just woke up like 40 minutes ago. 'Cause it's been a tough weekend, I guess, because we just came back from JB. We had an event called CRIPS for medical students to transition to CSJB because our year 3, 4, and 5 students actually go to Johor Bahru for
Hmm.
their practical years. So we just came back last night, actually.
All right, and I will have to interrupt our little pleasant chat because we do have a question from Maiza Yu Zafira. Alithia, do you have the spotlight? All right, Vina, here's the question. You mentioned that you plan on having events for self growth and development. Can you please elaborate more on the types of event catered for these purposes?
Thank you, Maisa, for the question. So, as I've mentioned before, events that I have in mind are like career talks or workshops that would reflect the needs of the students themselves. And this is more of a professional development. And I would also want to have some events that cater to their well-being development, such as things that are more laid back, like career talks, wait, no, such as art therapy, and things such as trivia nights, where it can be fun but can also be educated. And yes, so these are the types of events that I would cater to.
Thank you, Maisa, for your question. Again, audience, if you do have any other questions, anything at all, do remember that this is an opportunity that you are giving Kelvina to clarify on her manifesto. So I highly encourage you to ask any questions. I think we can give the audience maybe one more minute before we decide to move on. All right. I think that we can really uh, conclude that there are no further questions from the audience. I am a little bit surprised, but it is what it is. So, if the office bearers have no final words that they would like to present Calvina with, do you?
Final words to present Calvino with. Oh,
Yeah.
that's all right. I think what was being discussed during the MUSA training, those sessions were quite comprehensive, imparted some wisdom or lack thereof to Vina on her journey as a school rep. Wish you the best of luck in your election campaign, and in the future, if you do get elected, we'll always be here for you to if you require any assistance or support. Um, yeah, you're more than welcome to drop us a message or meet us for coffee or something. But yes, best of luck.
All right. Thank you guys so much for participating. Thank you to Vina and thank you to the office bearers Mawia and Vaishnavi. This was our debate for the representative position of the School of Medicine and Health Sciences with Calvina Hung from Ignovitas campaigning as your next candidate. Our next debate is from the School of Science representative positions with candidates Rainier William and Maisa. So do tune in later. And let me just remind you that we do have a multitude of platforms for Discord, uh, MUSA Instagram, MUSA website, and we did also just publish our election guide. So do check it out for any other further information regarding the election or regarding any manifestos. With that, I think we can close on today's debate. Good job to the candidate and good job to the office bearers. Thank you for tuning in today.